Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Cynthia and today's video is a journal with me video. This is actually the last process video that I recorded in my old space, and it was really nice to be able to record some of those last processes, but as always I had some elements that I knew I wanted to try and create with that I pre-selected. So I'm just gonna go through my journal and try and decide which items that are gonna fit best onto whatever page that I decide to journal on. And I'm just kind of conditioning the different items together, trying to find the best fits. So I knew I wanted to use that little image with some blue on there, and I really wanted to use that pocket that I created. I do have a process video on how to create those pockets. It was inspired by a video from Heather from Ruby and Pearl XO. And so here you just see me go through the pages and try and decide what is gonna work best for me. So I decided to choose these pages for multiple reasons. The coffee dyed paper is just a little bit more cool toned, and then you see that little fabric that has a yellow flower. It has a little bit of blue and green on there, which really went well with the items that I was using. So sometimes that's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm looking for pages that fit the different elements that I want to work with, but also that the tones of the pages, as well as just their colors of what I see peeking through, perhaps from the pages themselves, but also from different spreads that I've already created that are showing. I just want everything to be aesthetically pleasing when I go through my journal at the end. When it's all over, I just want it to feel really nice and cohesive. So I just use a little bit of wet glue to stick that like flip pocket onto the page. And I'm just pressing that down, making sure that it's not gonna be going anywhere. I really hope you guys are all doing really well. We are in our new space now. We have been for just over 2 weeks now, so we should be getting our furniture really soon, which is very exciting. I cannot wait to get all of my journaling supplies back. It's been we're getting to the moment where it's like it's doable, and then it gets to the point that you're just like, okay, like I'm done waiting now. So we're a little bit we're kind of approaching that I'm really done waiting moment, but everything should be arriving really soon, hopefully. So my next element here that I'm working with is a printable, And as always, I'll have everything listed down below, as I always do. And I'm gonna do one of my favorite things to do. It's to rip out the different florals or designs that are onto the printable and use only those elements onto my pages. I find that doing that just adds a little bit more depth to my spreads, and I just really like the look of it. So I'm just gonna be playing around with different parts of that printable and yeah, add some interesting and pretty elements to the pages that way. So here you see me use just some distressing ink just to make sure that this image is kind of popping just a little bit more than if I hadn't used that. And I also want to layer it with some tissue paper. This is just paper that was part of like a Happy Mail, and like some items were wrapped in it. So I always keep those types of papers. I love to collage with them. I find that they add the perfect layering effects onto the pages. And so now I'm just toying with the idea of adding that image onto that page as well. I really struggled in this spread to find a right space for the image, and unfortunately that illustration was really kind of capturing what I wanted to journal about, which is often what I do. I love to journal with illustrations. I don't often print out pictures of my day-to-day life, although I take many. But I find illustrations can really capture those various moments, because often what I want to journal about is not necessarily the happiest things. It's mainly things that either cause me stress or that really occupy my mind. And illustrations like this can really in a very pretty way kind of convey those emotions onto the paper without making it personal either. Like anyone could go through my journal and not really know what I was bothered by or whatever emotion I was feeling that day. So I really like that about the way of journaling with illustrations that way. just using my glue stick to make sure that everything is stuck onto the page very well, and using my bone folder to kind of press down everything. I find that that works really well and just helps every element stick to each other really nicely. So next I decided to use the to remove that side and then I was trying to figure out what I was going to do with those smaller pieces. Ultimately I used some of them. I don't think I used all of them. They just like didn't quite work. But I was just trying to find a way to make that little illustration work and kind of frame it in a certain way. So I sped up that process a bit, and I think I removed some of my process because it took me so long. I mean, this video is cut down to about 10 minutes or 15 minutes, I think, and I spent over an hour on this spread. So again, you know, whenever you see creators, whenever you see our videos, I tell you, like, we cut out a lot of things that we're not always super decisive, right? So that's something important to note. At least I know that I do, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. And I just used some double-sided tape to place the image onto here, and using one of those elements that I plan on gluing to kind of guide me with where I want to be gluing down the image. And now I'm just ripping a piece of washi tape to help me frame that image just a little bit better and cut that very straight edge. That's something that I struggle with. I don't like keeping straight edges or cut things straight in my journal. I'm working on it, but you know, we all have kind of our preferences. So I didn't want to let the other part of that digital print go to waste, and I'm just going to use it as a journaling space to insert into the front pocket. Or no, I think I put that one on in the side. So that pocket, if you're curious to see, again, I have a video on how I created it, but that pocket has a side loading pocket, a front loading pocket, and then it flips down. So because I know I'm going to be inserting that inside, and like sometimes they may book through, I just don't want it to be fully white. You could absolutely just leave it as is and journal on the white space, but I just wanted to ink it up so that it's not just stark white. You could also distress it with some coffee dye and just use it as paint almost, essentially. Just grab a brush and then put it on there and just let it dry before doing your journaling. And I'm just aging the paper a little bit, creating some folds in there, just to add a little bit of character onto it. And just to help me be able to slide it in and out a little bit more easily, I'm just adding a piece of fabric. So it's just a trim of sari silk ribbon that whenever I trimmed out a certain piece, it was a bit too long. So I'm just using that as a way to create a bit of a tab to pull it out. And then the last thing that I'm adding is this beautiful tag that I got in Happy Meal from Angela. And I felt like the different colors just went really well with this spread. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of fabric to it, and then I'm gonna do my journaling off camera. And that's everything for this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and I thank you so much for joining me today. I will talk to you all in my next one. Bye now.